Hey all, welcome to Monday, welcome to Countdown Day, and I'm going to apologize now if you hear a fan in the background. At the moment, there's nothing I can do about that. I am sorry. So, if you do hear it, ignore it. If you don't hear it, cool. But today, we are going to look at the results for what was a very interesting question. The top 10 G1 Transformers who could benefit from having a non-G1 alt mode. So, like, a Transformer whose non-G1 alt mode could replace their G1 alt mode. Bit of a weird one. When we present the results for this one, I'm going to show the G1 character and what the alt mode that fans selected was. You'll see what I mean when we jump into the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey, what hell, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. Helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Now, I saw this question just asked in general on one or two of the, like, you know, Transformers groups, like on the Facebooks or whatever, right? And I thought, wow, what an interesting countdown question it could be. It was, name one G1 Transformer who had a better non-G1 alt mode, or who could use their non-G1 alt mode, right? So, like, it might be something, for example, like, I don't know, like, Knockout. So, like, Knockout in G1 was half of a little Micromaster combining team. But in Prime, of course, he was a full deluxe car. So some people might say, the little G1 Micromaster lad could have benefited from being that cool car, for example, right? Little bit of a weird one. No honorable mentions this week, so we're going to dive right in and do as we always do and kick things off with number 10, Burst. Kicking us off at number 10, we have this. It is Revenge of the Fallen's Jetfire's alt mode applied to G1 Jetfire. He was a Blackbird, right? And he was a big plane. He was a cool plane. And people also said, hey, if G1 Jetfire had the movie Jetfire's alt mode, then maybe he could also split himself into pieces to become extra armor for G1 Optimus Prime. Can you imagine G1 Optimus wearing Skyfire, Jetfire as armor? That would be kind of crazy, but also kind of cool. Jetfire, Skyfire. I think that they're synonymous. Takes the number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9, we have this. Ironhide, but with his pickup mode. I believe in the movies he was a GMC, if I'm not mistaken, a 4-wheel drive that was like all like jacked up, and it had the roll bars and all of the bells and whistles, right? And a lot of people said, look, in G1, Ironhide is a tough, rugged type of guy, and he turned into a vanette, which is fine, but it's not exactly a rough, rugged type of vehicle. When you think of that, you think of a truck, which is why a pickup probably does match better. Even if you want it in red to match the G1 robot's robot mode and coloration. Sure, why not? Yeah, a pickup mode for Ironhide has even been kind of applied to the G1 in a roundabout way before, because we did get a G1 colored version of the movie Ironhide. And also, let's not forget Combiner Wars, where there was an Ironhide who was, in fact, a truck. So there is precedent for it. Yes, Ironhide, being a pickup truck, takes the number 9 slot. Now, number 8 I actually really like, and I actually had this. It is this. Megatron with his stealth bomber mode. Now, I'm not a fan of IDW in any way, shape, or form, we all know that, but I did enjoy the take of Megatron being a stealth bomber. I was like, you know what, that's really cool. A Decepticon being deceptive, kind of hiding, a stealth bomber can kind of come in unnoticed, and then all of a sudden, it's Megatron, and the wings become his fusion cannon. I thought it was a really brilliant idea for an alt mode. Granted, I painted mine to look G1 at the time, and I would like to see the stealth bomber applied to a G1 looking robot. That would be kind of cool. Will it ever happen? Who knows? But I like the idea. Megatron as a stealth bomber takes the number 8 slot. Number 7 is also very, very interesting because number 7 is this. It is Soundwave, but with his Transformers Prime drone alt mode. So some people said, look, I enjoyed the Siege Soundwave and the Legacy for that matter because it turned into not only the lamppost, but like a Cybertronian ship that could travel around and whatnot. And then some people said, yeah, but he was a cassette player. And indeed, I, being a bit of a purist, sometimes like the idea of him as a cassette player. Though, that being said, even though I have like the Legacy United one and whatnot, in cassette player mode, let's be realistic, it doesn't really scale with anything, which is why I'm very happy to have a resin cast of the little tiny Soundwave that came in the Centurion pack and have that painted. So it's more in scale. I also have one of them done and painted as Blaster as well, for the record. And I love that idea of being able to have them like in scale, in universe, while still being able to retain the traditional alt mode. That said, a lot of people said, look, the technology is outdated. We don't have many mini cassettes and mini cassette player stuff anymore. Updating it is logical. So what else could be kind of deceptive? What else could be modern, but at the same time could be something that has eyes and ears everywhere? A drone, an unmanned drone, sounds like a great idea for that. Yeah, G1 Soundwave with a drone alt mode like his Transformers Prime counterpart takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6 actually sticks with Transformers Prime in this. G1 Arcee with a motorcycle alt mode. I don't know, but this may have been done before, and I think Animated probably toyed with this a little bit. I could be wrong. However, we all know that the G1 Arcee was a sports car. We know that the Transformers Prime one was a very sleek speed bike. You know what? And I even think that the first edition, if I'm not mistaken, was actually painted pink and white to be more G1-esque. I want to say it's like a BotCon or a TFCon exclusive or some such thing. I could be wrong about that though. Nevertheless, take the G1 head, I guess, of Arcee, take the motorcycle body and color it to look like G1 Arcee and give her a motorcycle mode. Why not? It's a svelte, slender, sleek alt mode for a svelte, slender, sleek bot. Arcee as a motorcycle takes the number 6 slot. And now a hush falls over the crowd because we reached the ever coveted, ever popular halfway mark. And at the halfway mark today, we have this Bumblebee as a Camaro. A lot of people, generations, a couple of generations now, see Bumblebee as a Camaro. Whether from Transformers Prime, which wasn't really a Camaro, but Camaro adjacent, we'll call it, up through some of the other iterations where he's been more of a sports car, and of course the live action films. The idea of Bumblebee being a bug is kind of passé now, even though that's the way he is for me, and I still love my KBB Hornets agent. I understand how, you know what, a lot of people now would say, yeah, but a Camaro is just cooler, bigger, better. Who am I to argue? Yeah, Bumblebee as a Camaro takes the number 5 slot. Coming in at number 4, I like this one. I think this one is pretty interesting, and this one was right on point with the voting. We have this. The G1 Optimus Prime, if he had the Cybertron Optimus Prime fire truck, Cybertronian fire truck alt mode. To be fair, the RID 2001 Optimus fire truck also had votes. I think either one would be cool. I like Optimus as a transport truck, but if he's going to be a big hefty fire truck, that seems pretty heroic for a leader of the Autobots as well. I like the robot mode of the RID 2001 lad. I also, or car robots if you prefer, I also love, as does everyone, the Cybertron Optimus Prime. I actually reviewed it some time ago, or at least most of it. And I said, man, this is splendid. Now, imagine taking that, but applying more G1 aesthetics, right? The G1 Optimus head. Maybe the shape of the windows is a little more G1-ified, if you will. Yeah, the G1 Optimus, instead of being a transport truck, being a fire truck akin to the big lad from Cybertron or Galaxy Force. Takes the number 4 slot. And now we are into the top 3. And at number 3 we have this. Another Megatron. This one being Megatron as his animated dual-rotored helicopter mode. Some people said animated Megatron. I was like, yeah, but do you mean the weird Cybertronian plane thing or the helicopter? And then they would come back and say helicopter. Yeah, I get it. I thought that that was a very unique alt mode for him. We've seen Megatron be various planes, both Earth-based and Cybertronian-based, and same with tanks. But I think the only time he's been a helicopter is animated. And the brilliant thing about it was, even though he was a helicopter, when you see the body of the guy, you really don't see much helicopter there. A lot of it kind of compacts on his back. He still looks and feels the part of Megatron while having this completely unique alt mode all his own. And even the positioning of the fusion cannon, kind of as a barrel underneath the cockpit coming out, was also foreboding and menacing. I love the idea of Megatron as a helicopter. Makes great sense, fits in with the Decepticons being mostly aerial. Yeah, Megatron as a helicopter takes the number 3 slot. I think number 2 was kind of destined to be on this list, and it's this. It is Barricade as a police car. G1 Barricade, as we all know, was a Micromaster. He was a race car. I can't remember the type that it is now. Some of the voters said it. I'm not that big into cars. But he was a little race car that was cruel to his team of Micromasters. I think they were actually the Racetrack Patrol or something. And then we got the live action films where all of a sudden Barricade was a full-size Decepticon who was a police car. And since then, we've even had him in Siege be a police car. We had him like right down through the films be a police car. In The Last Night he was a police car again. So there's precedent for him no longer being a Micromaster. In fact, I think in the Siege line they actually renamed his Micromaster as, I want to say Runner. I want to say he was renamed Runner because everyone that knows Barricade now knows that his intent is to punish and enslave as a faux police car. And I think a lot of people like the idea of a bad guy police car. Barricade, with his police car alt mode, takes the number 2 slot. And now here we are, very tippy top number 1. And number 1 won by a landslide, an absolute positive landslide. Why? Because it makes probably the most logical sense of anyone. And it's this. G1 Megatron with a tank alt mode. Now before everyone loses their minds and says, no, Megatron has to be a pistol. No, he doesn't. As a matter of fact, he was only that for 3 years and it was ridiculous then. Even as a kid, I never understood, why is the leader of the bad guy army turning into something that has to be used by someone else? Usually Starscream, his most disloyal follower. And sometimes even his enemy, Optimus Prime. I always thought that that was strange. And then when I had the rare opportunity, because I knew one guy who owned the G1 toy, and Optimus turned into his truck, and Megatron turned into the pistol, and the pistol was scaled for human use, and the truck was scaled for toy use, and they couldn't interact with their alt modes. I was like, this is stupid. Put them back in their robot modes, because this is ridiculous. But then we had G2 happen. And in G2, right from then onward, he became a tank. Or a helicopter. Or a plane of some sort. Or a Cybertronian tank. When people voted for this, I'm not going to lie, most people said 86 Megatron. I pretend he's a triple changer because he comes with the little in-universe version of himself as a blaster, as a pistol, that anybody can use with a 5mm peg. So he can still turn into the pistol, while also having a third mode being a tank that is scaled in universe, and his robot mode. Basically, he's a triple changer now. I get that. As a purist, I still very much stick to Toy World's Hegemon, because that is a great in-scale robot that pairs beautifully next to 86 Optimus, while also retaining the original alt mode. But I'm not going to lie, outside of the review, I don't think I ever transformed him in his alt mode ever again. Because why would I? It's not usable with anything. I also amalgamated votes here because some said Cybertronian tank, a la Revenge of the Fallen, a la War for Cybertron. And a lot of people said 86 Megatron with his more Earth tank, or the Combiner Wars Megatron with his more Earth tank. So I sort of split the difference. I said, you know what? There's video game stuff here, there's movie stuff here, there's, you know, kind of made up stuff here. I'm just going to use the Devastation tank mode as an exemplar. Whichever version of a tank you prefer for Megatron to have applied to his G1 robot mode, however you voted, consider it included here. If you don't like the idea at all, that's fair too. But the voters did, and the voters loved it enough that it by far took the #1 slot for non-G1 alt mode that could go applied to a G1 transformer. And man, that's 10 down to 1 once again. Other ones that had votes, because there were a lot of interesting votes here. Let's see. Armada Starscream, Armada Jetfire as an alt mode. Cybertron Galvatron for Galvatron's alt mode. Reactivate Bumblebee. I thought that was a cool one to kind of select and pick. Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime. I kind of put that with the Movieverse Optimus Prime, where really it's just a different type of semi-truck, but maybe you prefer a semi-truck that has a nose on it instead of a flat nose, right? Bayverse Bludgeon, which is really the Reveal the Shield Bludgeon, I found out, or Hunt for the Decepticons, whatever it was. People said Bayverse Bludgeon, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Bludgeon wasn't in the Bay movies. But that's what it is, and him with it being a tank makes perfect sense. Unique Toys... No, sorry, Unicron Trilogy Rodimus, who was a truck. It's actually the Rodimus I like because I could get behind him as being kind of burly and surly. World's Gerwalk mode. Apparently his original couldn't do it, but the Generations could. And they said not the helicopter mode, but the Gerwalk mode specifically. Cybertron Soundwave. I thought this one was interesting. Somebody said, could we vote for Inferno, the Ant? And I said, I'll count it, but it's a slippery slope because they're not the same character. And Beast Wars is explicitly G1. Sorry if you don't believe that, but it explicitly is a part of the G1 universe. So I put it there, but anyway, it didn't catch on. Rise of the Beast Battle Trap had a nice few votes. I get that. Being a wrecker, basically, and I don't mean one of the wreckers, I mean being a tow truck. Bayverse Blackout being that big helicopter for sure. Transformers Prime Wheeljack, just because it was a cooler alt mode even than the G1. Some people said, I don't know if I buy that either, but I guess if you like the design of that car better. Armada Optimus Prime, again, applied to the G1 Optimus Prime. RID 2015 Soundwaves alt mode. Prime Cliff Jumper, instead of the little penny racer, of course, right? Reveal the Shield's Perceptor being like a half track instead of being a microscope. That was interesting, though I didn't find that transformed particularly well, but I thought it was a cool alt mode. This one I thought was going to rank Animated Wreck-Gar's garbage truck mode over motorcycle. It didn't rank. It didn't get a lot of support, and I'm surprised by that. The Cybertronian plane for Shattered Glass Megatron. Somebody went pre-G1 with War Within Grimlock's alt mode. Not G1. Pre-G1, I counted it. Satellite Soundwave from the Bay movies. And just for fun, let's say... oh gosh, who else? Throw in one more here. Tidal Wave being a blue whale and a tank? That would be weird, but okay. Them and even more had votes. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring. Or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.